we are talking all about financial projections. Now, this is a spreadsheet heavy day. So if you want me to customize your spreadsheet for you because you're doing other stuff, guess what our coaching time is for? A little customization situation. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and pull up our classroom. Has everyone having a good week so far? Pretty decent. Excellent. So today, when we're talking about business projections, what we want to do is we want to know the metrics to be tracking, like we talked about last week with your financial formula. We want to be doing those same projections and taking those numbers and knowing what your business is going to look like in the future. And so I have here, like, know what you own and why you own it. We want to know why your numbers are the way they are, which is exactly what the financial tracking is going to help you do. And we can start to predict what you're actually going to make in the future. Some people call this forecasting. I call it projections. They're the same thing. It's like those are two words for the same thing. So if you hear somebody saying like, oh, have you done your financial forecasting for the year? They're the same thing. So there are a lot of things in this spreadsheet. So like take a breath if it like things like this overwhelm you, but I can also help you customize each piece of this spreadsheet. So within the spreadsheet, you actually have tabs on the bottom, and I'll show you guys in a second, but within each of those tabs, there are different pieces of the things I want you tracking as far as numbers go. So the first thing are receivables. Receivables are the amount of money that clients are going to be bringing you in the future. So these are the number of clients that people, the names of the clients that you have. And then I like to keep track of when my clients are actually going to be finished coaching with me. This is something that's really important because if you're doing renewal calls, you want to make sure that you don't wait until the last session to be like, oh shit, I would also like to continue coaching with you because we want to, again, help them create a lot of safety in re-signing if they want to, and or complete an amazing time working with you. You also want to be figuring out the timing of monthly payments and figuring out like what that's going to look like for you. So you know to expect, like at the beginning of the month, you might not have anybody paying you. And so if you see zeros coming in, you don't want to freak out. You want to be like, oh yeah, I just don't get paid at the beginning of the month. I just get paid towards the end of the month. And it helps it set it up more like a regular job. The next piece is you want to have, so it's like you've got the whole sheet for receivables and you'll see what that looks like. And then we're going to have the expected receivables. This is where I take each of the clients out and I just put the money that I expect to get from them. You're going to see what that looks like in just a minute, but it makes it a lot easier to then take those expected receivables and then go to your expected profit. So it's like you take these receivables that you expect. So it's like I've got people that are going to be paying me through April. So I know that, and I can kind of like make business decisions around that. The other thing that you want to be doing, like I mentioned before with your networking sheet, is you also want to have a consult tracker. You want to know the names of the people that you've done consults with. And then this is where you can also have another location for your conversion rate. It's just kind of like instead of saying like who you had a consult with each week, you have like everybody for the whole month of like January. Then you have your current profit. So your current profit is the number of consults you have, new clients coming in, if people decide to renew or return to work with you. If you, like I said, lost, I was like, I don't love that. It's like they completed working with you. And then total clients and your profit. Then you also have expected profit. So this is the same as the current profit, but you're just going to be adding the receivables. Like, so you'll see, it's like, I have it in purple. So it's like, you'll have all the numbers that you have currently, and then you have the numbers that you expect to bring in. And then the fun part, projections, where you can like play around and be like, okay, if I were to sign 5 clients tomorrow, what would that look like? And how can I just make the numbers work to fit my financial goals? So the reason why this is a freaking rainbow, is because when I first like made the spreadsheet and things like that, I did not have one simple offer. I offered a bunch of different things. So if you look to the right, you're going to see 5 months for 3K, 10 months for 6K, 5 months for 5K, 6 months for 6K. Those are all different things that I had going all at the same time. That's why it looks so chaotic. Luckily, yours should be a little bit simpler and it should just be your one thing. If it's a little chaotic, welcome. I lived that life. So over here on the far left side, you see this black column. I just blacked it out because I didn't want you guys to see anybody's names, but those are all the clients that I had. And these are the people in the group. From there, I had how many, this isn't necessary for the group, but the next column over, it says the number of sessions they have. So how many sessions have they done completed? They have finished those sessions. Then the next column is upcoming. What is their end date? That was really important. How much they had paid and whether they paid in full. And then receivables is how much they were, I'm expecting them to pay. Since I've done this previously, what I had is now I also I made it like whatever I get after taxes. So instead of 1,000, it's actually 976. So like and like 77 cents, something like that. So that's a way that you can do that. How many payments are remaining? So this client had 3 payments remaining. The timing, beginning, middle, or end of the month. And again, what kind of a price they had. I know this is a lot. Okay, I was like, are there any questions with this sheet? I'm gonna like take a little bit of time to go through each of these spreadsheets and we can customize it. Are you feeling good about it? Like it's kind of self-explanatory. Harmony. It looks
Yeah, though I have a question because you talked about consult tracker here, and I think we talked about it in 2 different calls. I think, for instance, managing leads. And then we did the finance system last week. And so
like 3 different places for consults. Yes. So there is in your networking tracker, there's going to be a list of the people who you have done consults with. So it would say Harmony, Alicia, like all of your names are in a consult in my sheet for all the people who I've done consults with in my networking tracker. Then last week, that I wanted to have the names of the people so I can reconnect with them. For instance, someone who I did a consult with in July is thinking about doing the group this round. So it's like the reason why I have the names separate in the networking tracker is so I can come back to the names and actually like talk to those people and continue to nurture them even after a consult. So that's the reasoning behind having their names there. Then I also just want to see if the energy for the financial tracker from last week, that the reason why I have consults just a number listed there is I want to see like on a graph, I want to be able to see, okay, if I have high energy, if I'm talking to a ton of people and networking with people I know, and I'm doing a ton of outreach and I'm posting a lot, I actually see that reflected in my results. So it's almost like a visual of the model where it's like your thoughts, feelings, and actions create your results. I wanted to see that like separately. And then for this, it's the 3rd tab over. We'll talk through that in a second. But I had a list of the people who I did consults with all together. So as long as y'all are going to keep this confidential. So that is like, I feel cool showing you what it looks like. So for this one, it looks like this. And I have like just the names of people here. So I've got a list, and this is more so I know, like I've got 8 total for one-on-one, 6 people in the group. I've got 7, 10 in the group. Now it's 10 or 9 and 15 one-on-one. So it's like that's this is more so the reason why I have this in projections is so I can know, oh, I've got an open spot in X amount of time. So it's more so to be like, oh, Katie's finishing up. I'm going to have a spot open. Does that make sense as to why I haven't, I know it's kind of weird to have in 3 separate places. Feel free to tell me if that is like still kind of funky, because I can say it in a different way. Does that make sense, Harmony?
Yeah, it's just have to get used to it. But I'm just wondering if then I could put everything together in the same,
This is,
or maybe not.
you could put it all together. You totally could. It was just so many tabs. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. And so the financial tracking I do once a week. This one, the weekly, the one that I did last week with you guys. So it's almost like, actually, this is a cool way to think about it. This is my daily one. So these are all my leads that I have like currently. So I've got my consults. This is like something that I hope to do daily. And like you can see, these are all the consults I had this year. And I like update it. And then I also have like all these humans here. So it's like, this is my daily one that I like reach out to people. Then I have my weekly one. That is this one
Finance systems. Yeah.
for all the bigger numbers. And then I've got this one as the monthly one.
Monthly. Okay.
So that's really helpful. I've never thought about it like that, but yeah, that's exactly why. Because then it's like this one changes so much. And the consults, I don't necessarily change right after the consult. I usually go in. This one I kind of do monthly as well, which I hope that doesn't confuse you, but like that's kind of like my reasoning. And then what I'll do is I'll take them and I'm like, Sarah, or actually Nola, I'm like, super cool human. I make sure that that's more so the reasoning. And I just add her here. And I'll be like, okay, Anise, add her here. How is that feeling for everybody? I already have them on here, so I deleted it. Cool. So before we get into the consult tracker, I just went over like just the receivables. So you're gonna have like a total number of receivables down here, right? And that's a cool like it's cool to see how much money you're like, oh my gosh, like I actually did this a couple of weeks ago, and I realized that like literally just like if everybody keeps going the way they're going, I'm at 208 for receivables. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm like $208,000. I'm like, how neat is that? So it can be fun to like see those numbers. However, as we all know, business rarely goes as planned. People pause, people stop. It's not necessarily a science to how many people continue to renew and things like that. And that is why I have this separate spreadsheet to the right of that spreadsheet with the expected receivables. So these are the names of all the people. And like I said, this is like what I get after taxes and a total here. And the reason I have this is because these numbers, the people would change. Like, so it would be like, as you can see, like this person left, my group finished, like there were a bunch of things that changed throughout the year. And I like having this separate because this bottom number for the month would change. So if you just did all the expected receivables, this is like all time. This is a breakdown of each month of what you're expected to receive, which helps you to do financial projections later on. So does that make sense as to why I have it like this is like annually, monthly, the expected receivables. So it's like this is how much like for you guys you're paying, I think something like because you're paying still 500 a month. So it would be like this would be like you guys. And then I had clients that were finishing up from a long time ago. And then I had clients that were paying my new old price. Okay, cool. And again, feel free to pause me and I can help you make this for like every single one of you if you need me to. I was like, it's very fun and for me and cathartic. So this is a client breakdown, like I mentioned before. And I have the names of the people who I had consults with. And again, it's just another place to have your conversion rate. But I also wanted to make sure I knew how many total clients I had. The reason why I have the client breakdown here is I wanted to know if I had spots upcoming. And I kind of wanted to know how many one-on-one clients I had. I was like, okay, because sometimes I know that sounds crazy, but like I would forget. And actually, like I've seen other people do that too. So I don't feel like such a fool. But I'm like, literally, I would be like, wait, how many people am I coaching right now? And I'd have to like list them out and be like, okay, I've got Amy, I've got Katie, I've got this. Especially when I had 18 clients. Oh my God. I was like, wait, who am I actually coaching? Even though it was already on my calendar. So that's why I have this. I'm like, you might not need this. Again, this is an adopt, abandon. So feel free to literally just like abandon these things if they don't serve you. But it was helpful for me because I needed to see that.
Hey, Megan,
Yes.
can you go back to that? Yeah, that.
Mhm.
So can you do this too for like, what we talked about last week about how many people I want in group, how many, like what's my
Mhm.
ideal? And then, fill that out with your ideal. I mean, I feel like that would be so helpful
Yes. That's what we do
because
with projections.
I don't know where I am. Just like you said, like I have to go back and figure out how, when someone says, so how many clients, I'm like, well, I don't know. I got like in group and anyway, okay, I got it.
Yes, exactly. And that's literally why I created this because I was like, I felt like crazy. I was like, wait, when is this happening? And so we're going to make a monthly checklist, I think next week or the week after. I'm pretty sure it's next week, but I do this once a month. So on the last Friday of every month or the first Friday of every month, I choose one because Fridays are my administration days. I just go in and update it. And I'm like, oh, well, this person left. And oh, yeah, this person, oh my God, yeah, I signed all these clients. And I'm like, oh, and then I did this. And oh, it's like even this month, drastically different. Like it's crazy how much it changes from month to month. And I'll show you what it looks like for mine. I put it the last date that I actually changed the numbers on. I changed the date of the tab. I'll show you that in a second. But like, yes, we're gonna
But
do
it,
this on the
it
ideal.
can help you though, know where to focus your sales effort. No, like if you have, like,
100%.
say, I understand how you have yours up here, but say you could have, instead it would be 10 people for 6 months at 6K, and then 10, and you've got that 10, but then you have this group over here that's got like 5 people per group, and it would help you. Oh, there you go. You're way
Yeah,
ahead.
so that's the projections. Because I was like, what would it look like? How many people do I actually need to sign to hit the numbers I want to hit?
Okay,
That's what this is.
I didn't see that in this.
Oh, yeah. So this is more so just to keep track of like who I actually am working with, like the
Okay.
actual names of the humans. But
Okay.
that is coming. So I'm gonna I'll show, because that was what I was trying to figure out too. I was like, people will be like, "What's your goal of the month?" I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like 20,000. Say it seems pretty cool. I'm like, how do I know? Who would I actually need to sign? Do I actually need to sign that many people? Or do I already have receivables that would need to take into account? That's why I did this. Because I was like, I didn't even know what to make my goals. So it's like, I really genuinely like for you guys, just thinking about like, okay, what would this look like for me? That's why I did this. Because I was like, I don't even know how much I'm going to make right now. I'm like, so this is helpful. And you can see here, oh, sorry, the current profit is you have each month, you have how many consults you did, you have how many new clients, returning clients, if you lost any clients, and then the total number of clients. So this, you can leave this out, like that kind of confuses people, but like the most important thing is the profit. Like how much profit have I made? And it might be helpful to see how many clients you have at a certain time. Now, as you can see, I didn't get consults in April, May. Having zeros, I know can feel, or like I lost 7 people, I'm like, that can feel discouraging for sure. This is from 2022. However, I will say that it is really important to just have those numbers just so you know. And you're like, oh, okay, what happened in August? I'm like, or July, like, yeah, I think it's August. Yeah. something clearly happened in this time. Should probably check in and see what's going on here.
Can I ask another quick question?
Yes.
Since we're at the end of the year, the student in me wants to go back and do all this in retrospect for 23, but is that even worthwhile, or do I just set it all up and just get ready and start the new year fresh?
The only reason for doing that would to be an indicator for the future. If you're like, I don't really know, but I think that you know. So if there's anyone that's like, I have no idea how much I can expect to make next year, and I'm really like curious about it, and I want to see what I did this past year to be like, oh, okay, this is how many consults I typically get a month. This is how many things I get. Like, that would be the only reason I would say to do that. But I would say that we just start fresh. If you feel like you're like, it's like, I'm not quite sure how many people I had or lost, we can totally start fresh in 2024, the next year.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Now here, with the expected profit, do you remember how I did that monthly here? That is why this number is so jazzy. So what I did is I took the expected receivables for January and I put it for each month. So I knew to expect the numbers that were in, it was like, these were what I expected to make, and these should have been highlighted in purple. I thought I fixed that, but that's my bad. But I'm like, these are the things that I was expecting to make within the year if everyone just paid me. Does that make sense? So I literally just copied and pasted this number and put it here. Okay, cool. Then the last piece of this is the figuring out how many clients you actually want, the goal piece of it. We're going to be talking about goals the last week, but it's like, for me, I wanted to know what it would look like if I added some one-on-one clients. How many clients do I actually need to add to hit my goals? So the way that I formulated this spreadsheet, and I realized that like I didn't do the, actually, I think it's perfect. So I'll do a combo, I'll do a video either later today or after this launch about how to do calculations in a spreadsheet. But what I did here is I took, this is my expected profit. And then I was like, if I add 2 one-on-one clients, it would look like this. And then I added these 2 one-on-one clients to the expected profit and got this here. Okay, so let me say that again. I took, if I added 2 one-on-one clients at my 970 something a month, and I doubled it because it would be 2. Then I added that to the expected profit, and that's what I did to figure out what I would actually make if I added 2 clients, 3 clients, or 4 clients. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay. So then I figured out what it would look like to have 5 people in the group for a payment plan and 5 people pay in full. This is only for if you have a group, but what happens is it ends up being a mix. Like I'd say like half of you guys paid in full, half did a payment plan. So it's never exact, but it gives me enough to like shoot for something where I'm like, okay, so if I got 10 people in this group and they all paid in full, I could hit like $144,000. I'm like, that's crazy. Okay, cool. Now I know what to shoot for. The reason why this is so important is I know you guys have some big goals. And it's like, what would it take? How many clients would you need to get to your goal numbers? When would you actually need to sign those people? And so for me, I did, one of my friends who is very kind, we were meeting and he was like, he's like, your goal's too low. It's like, rude, but okay. I was like, he was like, no. He was like, I never want to hear anything less than 200 from you. He was like, it's ridiculous. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack over here. But I was like, he was like, use your pretty spreadsheets and figure out your numbers. Figure out how much you would need to hit 200K this year. He was like, don't fuck around. And I was like, okay. So I literally like did the math and I was like, oh, if I did 30 people, then I could hit 200K. I was like, all right. It was like, it was Tanner. I was like, he literally was just like, he's another person in 200K, but he sat beside me and he was like, stop. He was like, so it's like, figure it out. It's like, how much would you actually need to make? Let's figure out the numbers. And for me, I was like, if I want to hit $1 million fucking dollars, which is like a audacious goal for a fucking teacher from North Carolina, I'm like, that would be so insane, but it would be really, really cool. And I figured out that I would need I'd need 15 one-on-one clients at 12K. And I would need 35 people in my group, 32 people in my group, not even 35. If I launched it every quarter. And I was like, huh. And this is Nadia, when we were talking last week, when you were saying like, what kind of person do I want to be? I was like, I want to be the kind of person that signs 35 people. So now today I am solving for getting 35 people in this round of the mastermind. Am I going to hit that goal? Probably not. I would be delighted, but I was like, don't think that I'm going to hit the goal, but I'm trying new shit and I'm thinking about things really differently because I'm like, if I eventually want to hit this, what are the variables that actually get that result? And I was thinking about, I was like, I don't necessarily need to hire anybody. It would be helpful, but I'm like, I could pretty much do that right now. I'm like, I could have 15 one-on-one clients. I have 15 one-on-one clients, 2 groups going. Like, okay. So it's like, I'm making these projections. You can do this not just for this year, but you can do this for like a crazy number. And that's what people talk about, like 3-year plans, 5-year plans. You can do this at a higher level for like, what would be an incredible thing to do? What would be incredible to create? That's another fun way to like go about doing your projections. So hope that was inspiring and not too overwhelming. I want to hear, is there any questions before you actually customize your own spreadsheet?
I have one, Megan.
Yes.
Um,
Love your background.
Thank you. This feels like kind of a dumb question, but I'm gonna ask it.
Amazing.
This is what my brain was thinking the whole time. It was like,
Mhm.
and I know there's a good reason for it, but all the spreadsheets, my brain's like, this seems tedious. Why
Mhm.
can't you not just use QuickBooks and look at that? And I think the answer is I'm already disorganized with my money in QuickBooks, but I'm like, there has to be a way to make it more organized online, right? Where it's just automatically getting tracked.
So have you ever used something like Mint? It's like, have you ever like something to like do like budgeting, like just in person?
Mhm.
Okay, so here's what I found with QuickBooks. I am doing my like profit and loss. And I actually kind of want to make like a whole new training for you guys because I was like, I don't know if everybody knows how to do a P&L sheet, and I feel like it'd just be helpful. So I'm going to add that to the program. But one of the things that I realized is QuickBooks was doing the numbers for me and I could see it, but I wasn't really internalizing how much I was actually spending a month. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, this is like overall for the year. This is how much I've made. But I wasn't actually understanding what numbers to be shooting for my one-on-one clients. I wasn't sure how much I was spending and so I could actually make like reasonable investments. And it was just kind of like all together. And so you can totally do that. Like feel free to like leave these spreadsheets. But I will say it really helped me to lock in and be like, oh, if I like, what would I need to do to create these numbers? Now, none of you guys need to do these spreadsheets at all. Most people who have multiple 6-figure businesses do not have these kind of spreadsheets. It just helped me so that I could be like, oh, I know like factually what I would need to make my goals a reality. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's helpful for the renewal calls. I think it's helpful. I also think it's like fun to play and be like, what would it take? Like, what would I actually need to make to hit crazy goals this year. So again, if you're like, this is, it feels like a dumpster fire in my brain, feel free to leave it and we can come back to it. And if you want to make it, let's go ahead and do that. Now, the only thing I wanted to show you before we made it is at the bottom. You can see the last time I did this was November 4th. So I've got November 4th, November 4th. These are the times when I actually did this. And this is where I was like playing around with the numbers and I'm like, ooh, I'm like, this is what it would look like. I'm like, oh, okay. If I have these people in my group, I'm like, this is where I started playing with numbers to be like, what would it take? And literally like just doing the math. And I was like, oh my God, like, are you seeing this stuff? Like, this is like, what? Like the fact that I could do that, I was like, that would be kind of cool. So, and this was actually back in the day when I was only thinking I could have 10 clients. I remember I just got coached on this. So this is back in like November, or no, this is back in October. I haven't switched this since October, but like now these numbers are going to be even more different because my prices changed and I've increased my capacity. So it's like, it's just fun to like play with and like see where you're doing things. So with all that being said, go ahead and go to your Google Classroom, scroll down to additional systems 9. It's after your progress forms and after the essentials. And then there's a projection spreadsheet template. You're going to click on that, make a copy. And then I was like, yep. I was like, we're slowing it down. It's like, I got you. I got you. I see the concern. I was like, we got it. Okay.
I don't know if you know this, Megan, but when we're watching you do this, we got to toggle between screens.
Oh shit. I was like, here. Well, I can stop sharing my screen if you guys want.
No, not that. We need that.
Oh, okay,
But-
okay. I was like,
But we have to toggle between what you're showing us and then our actual Google screen.
okay.
So I don't know if you realize that we're kind of going back and forth if we're doing
did
it in
not.
real time. And that's kind of what's like, wait a minute, slow down. I gotta
That's
get
what the slow down is. Okay, it was like, what I can do is I can just like give you guys like a second to like toggle and like just give me a thumbs up when you're done, when you've got the toggling. The toggling done. It was like, but then you're gonna have your 6-figure systems folder. And if you don't already have a folder for projections, make a 9 projections folder. Share this bad boy into here. And then this is for you forever. All right. How are we feeling about this? Are there any questions? I know they're probably like, once you actually do it, you might have more questions too. And I also know that there might be some completely unrelated questions about if you're doing a presentation or a webinar before the end of the year. They're like completely unrelated stuff to what we're talking about right now. So feel free to bring any and all of that and let's get coaching.
And what you just went through, are those slides in our classroom too?
Yes,
Okay, so
same thing. And if you click on the slides, but
Perfect.
if you want my help, if you're like, and I'll show you, I'm sorry, I did not make a video explaining Google Classroom, populating the formula, populating the projections. I was like, I literally like made a, what's it called? I have like a thing. I was like, I need to make these videos
Time block.
I think I moved it. I moved it to like because I was like, I don't have time for this week. I was like, I'm gonna lose my mind. But I did it someday. And I was like, I know that those are the three things. It's like I've got the projections, Google Classroom. Where is it? Maybe I moved it to a different month. Whoops. But I will make a video just showing you guys how to do the like Excel spreadsheet stuff if you want. It's really not advanced. I was like, I literally like, I was never trained in Excel. I never got that little stamp of approval. So if that is something that you probably know more about, as we learned last week, feel free to add that.
Thank you.
Of course. So we've got goals before the end of the year. Who wants some coaching? Harmony, start with a win. What is going on?
Oh, let me check my wins. Because I just wrote it somewhere. And obviously
In a
I
good
forgot
place.
about them. But I could tell you about all my failures.
I know. Isn't that fun? That's why I made you start with it.
What I put, like, I got really inspired last week doing my content batching about self-confidence. I thought it was a win.
Amazing.
Felt good about not doing much during Thanksgiving, just relaxing, enjoying family time. Met my best friend's family.
Oh, congrats.
Booked our first, it's all in my spreadsheet.
Okay.
Booked our first combined family vacation.
Oh,
And I finished everything for my one-on-one client, the weekly tracker, midpoint checking, and also made a whole, I went through all the systems, the calls, the essentials, and I made my whole spreadsheet about all the things that you taught us and all the things that I want to do. And so I'm like starting to fill up the whole thing. So now what we just went through today is way too much for my brain. I'm like,
Yep.
not now.
Yep, later. I was
I'll
like,
come to that later.
I think you posted in there one time about like you wanted to take a day off to like just from your work and like just do a deep dive.
Yeah, this is what I did Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And
that.
it was really, really helpful.
And you gotta do it together too. That's why you guys have your contact information. So feel free to be like, hey, does anyone want to just like sit down and actually like just do the projections together? That can be a really great thing so that you're not doing it alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah. But I think what's been in my mind for the past weeks is that, well, I'm like, the cake is baking. I was listening to Stacey Beeman yesterday, 2K for 2K, the coaching call. Obviously, I have to rewatch yours or listen to yours actually.
I love
like,
it.
yeah, the cake is baking. And even my mom was asking me this morning, so do you have new clients? Well, no, not even consultations. So yeah, it feels like I'm doing a lot of things and I'm wondering if I'm doing all of this just to distract myself. Like all the systems, like as a way to distract myself. Am I doing it or not? I have not planned the webinar yet. I just don't want to think about that right now. But yeah.
So I feel like it's interesting because I think that you're onto your brain. It might be that there might be some consumption time that we need to spend a little bit more in the creation zone. And I want to know what you're making no new clients or consults mean for your business right now.
Well, that was very interesting. I really loved the other time when you shared that actually not having consults and not making money was part of having a business. I really love this. And when I'm thinking that, I feel, yeah, it's just part of the process. So it's not a big deal. And then I don't want to be thinking because I'm not doing this, like I'm not having right now clients and consults, it means like I'm never going to have, because I produced them before, a few of them, not even doing Instagram, nothing, just like, hey, I'm a coach, I just got certified, I can help you. And so I don't want to make it mean that it's not going to happen and that I'm not a good coach, because I know I have the results.
Mhm.
But I want to make it mean that I am not able to be like, I'm not being vocal enough. Maybe I'm not making like, yeah, proactive enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that I've got two kind of like pieces of thoughts that I want to give you. So the thought that the cake is baking, I really like that thought. And one of the things that I want you, for everybody to know, is that you've just learned the marketing system a couple weeks ago. Though there is like a rule that came out of 90 days. It takes 90 days of consistently doing something in order to actually see the return on your business. So it's 3 months. So you've done 1 month of consistently doing it. And I think your brain's like, the results should be here. Where we really want to be like is it's going to be 90 days, but I don't want to stop at month 1 and think that it might not be working, because that there's 2 more months for you to like then see and reap the rewards of this. That's why this whole program is not like I could give you guys the essentials in the
Yeah.
first 3 months, but that's why it's 6 months, because it was like you need to see consistency in order to see a return on the investment of the time. So think about, in the cake is baking is a good analogy. The other one's like popcorn. So I want you to imagine that like you're putting the popcorn in the microwave. I shared about that last night. And it's like you're like, open it.
We do popcorn every Friday with the kids. I'm gonna think about clients popping up on the bike this
Yes.
time.
And it's like what is happening is you're like, wait, hold on. It's like I put it in for 10 seconds. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? You're gonna make shit popcorn if you open it up every 10 seconds. It's not gonna taste great. And the results are just gonna be kind of like haphazard if it does happen. So we just need to like, this is where the mindset work comes in. And this is where the thought work comes in, of being like, okay, this is what and I love that idea. Like for traditional careers, what happens is you put in energy and you get output immediately. Also, like a lot of things, it's like there's that like not necessarily instant gratification, but there is like a clear gratification. If I do this, it will work. One of the reasons why business is so is a little bit more intimidating is because it's like I'm putting in all the effort. Is it gonna work out? And that's where we have to be like, I'm gonna make it work out. It's like I'm gonna figure out a way to make this work. Now, so it's like I feel like taking time to so it's like, first off, how does that feel? Knowing that like it's gonna take a little bit of time for you to see the reap the reward of all the marketing and all the things that you're doing. Like I've seen you are on fire. It's like your Instagram is completely different than it was 2 weeks ago, even. I just don't want you to get discouraged and be like, oh my gosh, like something has gone wrong, when you're really doing everything right. We just need to keep going.
Well, I'm not even thinking about when I was saying that is not because I'm doing like I'm on fire on Instagram and I don't have clients through that. I'm not even expecting to get clients from Instagram. And I think you were pretty clear that even for you, when you were showing the numbers, this is not what brought you the clients. And so far, the way I've created was just talking to people. So networking. So, but I like it because for me, it's like working on my self-concept and like being vocal and just like creating self-confidence. Like I don't care what people are going to think about me, I'm just going to do it because I know it's working. And actually I know it's helping people because the few followers I have are like, oh, like they reach out to me about something different, but it's just it's I know it resonates about for people. Yeah, it's more about the other piece, like continually meeting the people, networking, and making offers. And
How was that?
I was just thinking, like, if I didn't have a full-time job, I would probably do that, but I have to like do everything together because I need that full-time job. So I'm not 100% making offers and trying this, and so I'm like going back and forth. I have to believe that it's going to come on time. I mean, this is my whole life. Like I can see backwards and like see how everything went. Even finding my partner today, I just knew he was there. I went and looked out for him. So, but yeah, I'm just going through all of that. And which sometimes, like the last sessions, I wanted to be coached, but I was like, no, it's just bullshit in my head. Like, I don't even want to be coached about my own things because I'm like, this is so stupid, but I know that everybody does it. And I'm like, no, it's not even worth coaching on it. Just get over it, girl.
I'm like,
But I'm
I'm
not.
so glad you do not need to go over and get over it, girl. It's like, that's why you are literally paying to be in this group. It's like, and also we are all going to experience this at so many different times in our business. So it's like, I don't want you to just like kind of negate negative thinking at all, because what happens is if your subconscious is genuinely concerned and is like, oh shit, like I'm not feeling safe in this business, it's gonna run the show 80% of the time. So that part of you is like, if there is concern, let's quell the concern, actually just like get it out and then make a plan from
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? So like, what is the thought that comes up when you think about your business? Your mom's like, do you have any new
Yeah.
clients? And you're like, no.
No, I'm not yet.
What is the thought? What is going
Well,
on?
I think, well, stop asking me. None
Stop.
of your business. No. Well, you were just talking, I was thinking what I make it mean is that I'm not doing enough, because if I would be doing enough, I would have more consults and more clients.
Yeah. How does that feel when you think I'm not doing enough?
I am not doing enough. Well, it's hopeless. Like, it's like endless, because not hope, but not hopeless, desperate, but just it's the vicious circle. So I feel
Defeated, like it's like
yeah,
like it's just kind of like sad, like a
stagnant.
Mhm.
Stagnant, actually. I feel stagnant.
Yeah. So it's interesting because your brain's like trying to like motivate you to do more, and it thinks that by thinking I'm not doing enough, it's gonna get you going somehow. But what's happening is it's like literally the feeling is stagnation. So it's like the thing that you're trying to motivate yourself to do something is actually, we just need to show your brain that this thought probably not serving you. So let's think about what you're doing when you're feeling stagnant and thinking I'm not doing enough.
Well, I keep on thinking about trying not to think that it means I will never have clients again.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you're like,
So it's like here.
yeah, you're like,
Well, I
don't
guess I should do that. I should just like, yeah, I'm thinking that, and it's okay.
yes, that's what I wanted, because you're like, I keep like playing whack-a-mole with it, and I'm like, I think that is whatever you resist persists. So I think that like
Yeah.
you're trying to be like, oh, I'm like, these are just like my BS thoughts. Like it's like this isn't like doesn't even mean anything. And I was like, we actually need to hear this out, because it's again running the show 80% of the time. So it's almost like you're like putting like a positive spin on thing. It's almost like, I don't know how to like phrase that, but it's almost like you're like trying to be positive, but like not letting the fears out. So
Well,
I'm
I
like,
know I'm thinking that, but I'm trying to not be thinking it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to not let it take over too much space, but actually it is taking over a lot of space.
mm-hmm. It take up space. So it's almost like that resisting it, or it's like avoiding it.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about, yeah, I'm already going into other things. Because you were thinking, like, you were talking about the webinar, and I initially put it to do it. And I was like, why are you doing that? You don't even have new consultation or clients. So what are you thinking? You're really trying to do things where you're not at yet, even though I did a workshop in my building with 4
I know
women.
you did. I'm like,
So, but like, I'm like, yeah.
it was like that you're not ready for a webinar.
I think it would be me trying to do something because I think I'm not doing enough at that point.
Right.
It would not come from a great place.
Mm-hmm.
It would be, okay, well, let me try something else, but because I'm thinking I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
And well, I'm not saying because like I'm not doing enough. It's absolutely not true. Like I haven't done so much in my business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy what I've done in the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have not slacked.
Yeah. Nice.
and I'm still thinking it's not enough. I
Mhm.
think someone was coached about on that at the beginning, wasn't it? Maybe it was Nadia. She was like, it's just good enough. What was, I really like the thought. Or maybe it was someone in their future vision. Like I remember at the beginning, there was a thought about being
I
just
remember who it
enough.
was. I remember that call too.
Uh,
I forget who
she's
it was.
blonde. She's a coach for the life coach school. I think
Oh,
maybe it
Sarah
was
Bond.
her.
Sarah Bond.
Yeah,
She's
Sarah.
gonna be
Maybe it
here
was
next
her.
week.
I don't know.
I was like,
But
but
yeah,
yeah,
I'm not
like,
obviously if I'm thinking I'm not doing enough, I'm not seeing like all the things that I've done for the first time, all the systems, the structuring, even with my only current client. I'm even thinking about, should I say I only have one client? I have an amazing client? Should I say I only have, like, I'm going back and forth, like I only have one client? No, I have one client.
mm-hmm.
And her results are amazing. Like, but
Amazing
yeah,
client
I'm just
versus,
like, yeah, but it's just one amazing client.
yeah, it's a totally different field. So it's like I said, focusing on the gap versus the gain, focusing on like the piece that you haven't made yet versus how much you have created. And what happens is that thought, I'm not doing enough, undermines your ability to see that you are doing enough. Now, of course, your brain it's seeking safety in the things that you're doing because that's how you've created results before. So it's like in the past, what has happened is you've done, like, you do things and then you have things and then you feel like you can become something else because you're like, okay, I've done the things, I've made the amount of salary I want to have, so then I can feel like I'm the person I want to be. With
Yeah.
business, it's the
You
complete
have to be.
to do the right thing, to have not the right things, but like to do the things, then you can have the things. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
And actually, I am being. I mean,
I know you are. So it's like, but if you
and
aren't,
that's why people want to coach with me, is when they see me, they're like, I want this.
So the thing that is like draws your people to you like a freaking magnet is seeing you in a really abundant place. Like, I am so grateful for everything I've created. I am such a badass. I am doing all the right things. Like, yes, like you want to work with me because I've created this amazing life for myself. That it's like you literally said, when people want to work with me, it's when you're in that place. So what I would like for me, one of the things that helps me go from scarce to like abundant, which is like kind of like wooish terms, but like it helps me, is doing a gratitude practice. And actually, I learned this from Charlotte. She's my one-on-one or my breakout instructor for 200K. And she does a gratitude practice every single day. So at the end of self-coaching, getting into a space of like, I have so much in my life. I feel so good with all the things that I've created. I'm safe and content and like joyful here. And I can't wait to be there. Like, and it's gonna be like, and it's not gonna be better there. Cause I think that there's like always a thought, like, it's gonna be better there. I'm not, it's like,
Oh no, it's not. I know that.
I know. I was like, but it's like, this
I've
goes for
experienced this so
everybody.
many times. I know.
I know. I was like, I literally like thought that if I made 6 figures in my business, I was like, I'll never be sad and I'll never feel scared in my business ever again. And I'm like, surprise, I'm feeling scared a little bit right now and it's fine. I really did think it was going to happen, guys. Like, and everyone told me, I'm like, I know, but like, I really subconsciously, I really thought that like nothing could ever go wrong at 6 figures. It does. So you can get into a place where you are like, just like, this is incredible. Look at how much I've created in the past 8 weeks. My client is getting stupid good results. I get everyone's stupid good results. I want you to think about how differently you would be showing up instead of feeling like you're not doing enough. You would see that you're doing more than enough and it's going to work too. So, what's coming up for you here?
I was just thinking, I do think that anytime I produce, I'm organizing the system, the Instagram, or like when I talk about coaching, like I feel like I'm able to go to that place where, hey, I
think so
know
too.
that people want to coach with me because it's working. But then when I'm on my own and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh,
Yep.
so at least I feel it's, yeah, I've got
It's
that
getting
good
better.
balance. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I was thinking I used to do the gratitude practice. And then I was thinking, but actually, even like I don't do self-coaching in the morning when I wake up every morning. I just like, I mean, I've tried and I put all the things in my calendar. And yeah, I just want to wake up and get breakfast for the kids. I don't do it before. I want to get that 20 minutes of sleep. I don't want to be doing that. So I know that I'm like, I'm not doing enough.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we all it's like from a place of like, oh, I'm noticing that something that makes me in that space where everyone wants to work with me is self-coaching. That's interesting. I know I've like kind of removed that. Maybe I should add that back in. Like for a place of like, oh, that'd be kind of fun. It's like, let's see it. Let's try it out. Let's see if I feel better. Because I genuinely like want you guys to not only like make the amount of money you want to make, the income you want to make, but I also don't want this to feel like hell. Like I don't want it to be a miserable journey to multiple six figures, to working, making more in less time, whatever your goals are. It's like I want you to actually feel like I want it to feel like shit the whole time for you. And if self-coaching every day can get you there, that might be great. And I want you to think about like what kind of a goal from a place of like, first off, like, can you get into that space like where you're on your Instagram post? Because I've seen you. I'm like, I know you can get into that energy. And I know what you mean, where it's like I get in and then I like lose it. I totally get that. And it still happens at this level. Nothing has gone wrong. And I want to show you that like from that space of like, my business is kick ass. It has never looked so incredible. People are coming. What goal do you want to create from that place?
You're talking about creating clients or something?
It doesn't have to be. It's like, but what, because I think that what's happening is like your brain's like, I'm not doing enough. I have no new clients and no new consults. But if there's no benchmark, if there's no goal, your brain is always going to move the benchmark. It's
Oh,
always,
no, the goal is clear. It's 10 new, amazing, and determined clients per year. So
Mhm.
it's by next August 2024.
Okay. So your
I mean,
brain
it
is
was
like,
10 clients. I need 10 clients a year.
Mhm. So it's like if you are the kind of person, and it's 10 clients a year, you work with them for 6 months, so it's like five
Yeah, so
clients.
it's like it's 5 or 6 months. So it's like,
Okay, so the goal, like, because I think your brain just hasn't had a clear, again, why the projections are helpful. It's like it's been like in August. So it's like your brain is worrying about stuff in August, and it's like not even useful braining that's going on.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know? So it's like if we were to think like if we go for this goal, if we're like, okay, this is a goal that I want to go to work and create. First off, you should feel like slightly vomiting, and that's fine. I was like, you're like,
Oh, it is.
I was like, okay, that's totally fine. I was like, but here, I was like, I was like, I know that we talked about like potentially before the end of the year, 3 clients.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not happened.
I was like, okay, we've got
I got it.
5 weeks. Let's do it. And the thing is, it's
Ah.
like, this is what I was saying. And if this is too triggering for you, we can like change this. Like, you can always change the goal. I'm like,
I know. I just like it's not happening. I'm just like it is not happening. I don't believe it.
okay, so let's do something that feels like a little safer for your
One,
system. Like, I know. It's like, so let's
but
like,
even one, I'm like, yeah, I can see that it's hard for me to believe at that point. I'm like,
do you
I know
see
they're
your brain?
coming, but it's like it's not coming now. It's not coming now.
I know. I was like, but so you have, so when we're thinking about every action that you're doing, like doing the post on Instagram, I want you to be thinking a potential client's going to read this and they might work with me from this. Totally shifting your self concept and being like, every post that I do, if I want to do a webinar, they're going to come from this. If I am messaging someone back and forth, this could be the one. And we do it from a place of like, I just want to learn how to sign a client for Harmony's business. Like for my business as the CEO, I think it's going to be useful for me to learn how to sign a client and know what action, what thoughts and feelings can give me that result. Like if I wanted to sign one client, I want to figure out what would the variables be to get that answer in that equation. And then I can feel more like a game. Like I don't want your goals to feel like really stressful. I want you to be like, oh wait, like how could we make this happen? How could we make it fun? How could we sign one client? Maybe let's say by the end of the year. What would it and then that's like, okay, if I learn how to sign one client in a month, then I could probably learn how to sign 2 clients in a month. And like we just want to build that belief in you as a CEO that like I know how to sign a client. What's coming up? You look very you're like no.
No, there was a lot coming up, and I was thinking that what worked so far is just casually hanging out with the people I know, not my closest friends, but like trying to make connection, networking, and like just putting myself out there and saying, I know it works, look at me, and I know it can work for you. That's it. But then I'm thinking, I see them all around. They're thinking it could work, but they're not there yet into, hey, maybe I want to try this. And I'm not trying to convince them either.
So we don't want convincing energy, but what would compel them to be like, oh, I really want this now? I was literally just like, I just got coached right before this. And Courtney, the coach who I was working with, she was like, what are their objections? Like we talk to their objections. What is the last thought before they go to sleep at night? What is the last thing that they're thinking about before they go to bed? And I was like, I think they're thinking like this would be helpful, but maybe this isn't like the priority right now.
Exactly. This is exactly what I was thinking for years, months. Like, is it really possible? I didn't really like, yes, but I'm going to do it just for 1 month and then I'm going to give up. Like, this is what, like, so what would I even start? Like, it was hard for me to believe that a different reality was possible. It was easier to feel that I was busy, I didn't have time, I was struggling, life was hard, that I could have a different perspective of everything. I could see this like in like bubbles, but not as an overall new outlook on life, like a real sustainable one.
And I think I mentioned this like last week, but even if you're writing this to you, say, Dear Armony, it is really possible. I want you to know that there is a different life for you on the other side of coaching. You're not going to give up, and it's worth it to start, because instead of feeling like your life is busy and hard and these glimmers or bubbles of this life that's possible for you, I want to take you to see the full picture, because life on the other side of this is greater than you ever imagined. I want you to know this is real. This is possible for you. And if this is something that you are looking for, I would love to book a one-on-one consult with you just to show you what's possible for you. Do you see the like, I want you to take all of the thoughts that you used to have about coaching, and I want you to write posts to pass you. And I want you to think about like the person on the street, like whoever you're passing, whoever you're making connections with, like this would be a game changer for you. And I think I mentioned this when we were talking about consults or things like that. But one of the things that I like to do when I'm networking with people online, something that makes it really fun is I'll look at their Instagram and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, what would their Instagram look like? Just their Instagram after working with me. I'm like, it's going to look so much better. It's going to be so professional. Their bio is going to change. They need to get rid of this.
Someone asked me, my divorce lawyer who became a friend, like, so who did you hire? I'm like, hire who? I'm like, I have a business coach. No, who's doing your Instagram? I'm like, me.
So
and it's like, it looks so professional. I was like, really?
Yes, because it is. And people are noticing. You see what I'm saying? People notice you. But we want to continue those conversations with them. And we want to have conversations with people. Like, so not only in your posts do we want to like make that happen, but we also want to have for your we want to start bringing these people back to your pillars and be like, hey, it's like I know this is like the time of year. It's like let's think about your pillars. Like what is like stress management? I would say this is like the biggest one. If people are like, oh my God, I'm so stressed right now with the holidays, be like, hey, how are you feeling around the holidays right now? I know that like I used to be super stressed around the holidays. How are you feeling? What's going on for you? Reaching back out to those people and just being like, hey, how are you? It's like, because first off, it's just a nice thing to do. And
So I did a whole thing about stress management during the week of the holiday, like to that. But I feel
But
like
did
I'm
you-
not going to that little last engagement part. Not as much, not enough.
and
For
fun
real.
fact, okay, so like we talked about, the not only is it like, so you're doing all these awesome posts, and if you don't engage with people, like sending them DMs or things like that, what happens is you get flagged as a robot. So
Oh, I
Instagram,
do, but not
you got that.
I feel not as naturally or organically as you would do.
Because I've had a
Yeah.
lot of practice. I was like, because I've had a lot of practice in getting it wrong. But within that, there was a study that was done last week that all of like even people like Amazon, huge corporations, are no longer just doing billboard marketing. They're all doing interactive marketing now. You'll start to see like put your number in for a text thing. I'm getting like for Black Friday or Cyber Monday, whatever the thing was, it's like a ton of text messages from different businesses. I don't know if you guys have seen that too, but it's like like even at the highest level, people are buying from who they know, like, and trust. And so it's like if you can just start to talk to people, you are so like vivacious. I mean, like, tell me about your life right now. It's like, how are things going? It's like, I know that this is stressful right now, but like just talking to the humans is going to take your business to the next level. But I want you to think about like, okay, if you want to sign one client, let's say by the end of
I
the
want to sign one client.
So if that is the goal, what would you need to think? Like, how would your self-concept change? What would you think about yourself? What would you think about them? Belief triad, that shit. I was like, I love the vibe. It's like we need to get you dancing. As
Yeah,
you're
but there's just the
talking. Hold
vibe.
on.
There's not the thought yet. It's coming. It's coming.
Okay,
It's
okay. I
forming.
was like, I'm going to say put on some music while you
Uh,
are networking.
Well, I'm going to Miami next week for Art Basel, and I'm like, it's going to be an opportunity to meet so many people. So I have to show up as my best coaching self.
Yes. What is your best coaching self thinking? Like, of course, I'm going to sign a client from this Miami thing.
Well, she's a badass coach. She helps people. It's more like yeah, but that's not more that comes.
Okay, so but what if the thought is like I cannot wait to meet them. They're going
Yeah.
to get the best results. It's going to be amazing. Like, what kind of thought would that be? Like, you're embodying the badass coaching.
I guess it's exactly what I'm experiencing with my current clients or the ones that I have. I can't wait to see their improvement, their evolution, their growth.
Oh, I
I
love
can't wait for them to tell me, hey, I mean, I had one client, she's all about not 60 yet, she's an entrepreneur. She's like, I've tried so many things. Therapy, psychiatry, there's only life coaching that is helping.
It's literally same. Like, by the way, like I think that a lot of us have felt that. So it's like, how does that feel? It's like I can't wait to see their evolution and growth. What emotion comes up for you? Like for me, it's excited.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like people say things about excitement being an emotion that like
It's almost like calm confidence for me. It's like excited, but like, yeah.
it's like I can't wait to see their evolution and growth. Like it, and then so different from stagnant. And I know that we like went for a
Me too.
while like on this, but I think this is helpful for literally everyone thinking about what it would look like to be the kind of person that can just sign people. As an entrepreneur, it's just a great skill. And what does that version of me look like? What is that version of me thinking? How does that version of me feel today? What is that version of me doing? What advice would that version of me give today? I do that coaching every day. And I'm like, she's like, it all works out, Megs. Chill, take a breath. It's all going to be good. Everything works out. How is that feeling for you? Do you feel like complete?
I'm thinking that it's also curiosity
Yes, where are they?
and but also curious to see what they are understanding, what they are struggling with. Because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm making a lot of assumption. Oh, I used to do that too. And so then I'm like, it's gonna take you a while to come out, you're not ready yet. And
Oh, that
so,
thought they're ready now.
oh yeah, who's ready? It's like, who's ready?
Literally do that as a post. Who's ready to
Who's
change their
ready?
fucking life? Let's go. Sign up for a one-on-one consult. Let's do it. Literally, like that was the kind of like energy. I was like, yeah, like that energy. Like, who's ready? They're ready right now. Who's ready? Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do it. I want to do it.
I'm so proud. I love this. Amazing. Are there any other thoughts? Are you feeling good?
Yeah. Interesting. I will
Isn't that interesting?
go about that. I like the letter to myself, the like it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So good.
Gratitude letter to myself. Who's ready for change? To change.
Gratitude letter. Who's ready to change? I love it.
Gratitude letter to myself and who's ready to change.
To change. I like that. Who's ready to change? Are you ready for change? Let's go. Amazing. Okay. Feeling complete? Feeling good?
Mhm.
Amazing. Who wants some coaching next?
Hey, Megan, can
And
I,
thank you.
I mean,
Of
this
course.
this isn't for coaching, but just to piggyback on what you were saying, to Armony about gratitude. Yesterday I had my one-on-one coaching and with 200K, and I was kind of in this dramatic overwhelm spin. And what I found was just to ground myself in gratitude, not so much from like, oh, I'm just so thankful for but just like real, like these are my
Actual.
challenges, but I'm so grateful that I can work around these challenges. I'm so grateful I've created this business that allows me to. The scenario was like I had to go take my kid to the doctor and how that impacted my day and blah, 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 which is just a typical day in my life.
Yeah.
And just getting into like, okay, I'm grateful that I can drop everything and go do that, just really squelched the overwhelm. And gratitude has not been something I've really explored
Mhm.
in my business. And so I just think it was just so interesting to me that it came up today in her coaching, and I was just, my ears really perked up. It's like, okay, like there's more here than even what I've just scratched the surface of. And I think sometimes gratitude can become cliche,
Oh yeah.
just sort of gloss over it and make it a platitude
Mhm.
instead of like really, really being grateful, and how grounding that was for me. So I just wanted to share that in case that's helpful for anyone else, because it gave me a sense of calm, and then I can make decisions from calm that are much different than decisions from overwhelm and spinning out and whatever. So it might just be something I'm going to explore myself, just no matter what the situation is, as you showed with
Mhm.
Harmony, how you can use it there, and just kind of see like, where does it come up? Is this something that a muscle I can strengthen in my own brain that is going to help me
And
in
it's
lots of different places?
like, and we're going to talk about like, things that like put you in a high value cycle. Like we're gonna talk about like a high energy cycle in a couple weeks, but getting that when you talked about like the muscle to strengthen, then I'm like, oh shit, like I need to make this a protocol. Like I'm like, okay, so it's like if this is something that has worked for me, if I'm feeling overwhelmed and this takes me to grounded, now every time I feel overwhelmed, I use it as a protocol. And I'm like, oh, 5 things I'm grateful for. What it's like, if I need to make a decision and I'm not feeling calm, I'm like, what are 5 things I'm grateful for? How can I get back into that energy within my business? And that's how you strengthen that muscle, is getting that trigger and squelching it with things that work. So genius. I love it. It's a really
Yeah,
good way
and
to do that.
What was so interesting to me that wasn't even just 5 things I'm grateful for out here in the universe. It was literally in this
In your
situation
business.
that
Mhm.
in this situation that's causing me to have the feeling of overwhelm. What am I grateful for in this situation?
Mhm.
And that, because what we were trying to get at was okayness, like even with Harmony, like okayness that I haven't had a consult, okayness that
Mhm.
my schedule's gone out the door, okayness that my business just went sideways or whatever.
Mhm.
Where do you find the okayness? Like that was something I just couldn't grasp, that sufficiency. Like, where do I get that? And for me, gratitude was the door. So anyway, if that's helpful for anyone, but yes, having that as a, I didn't, you're so systems oriented.
I
Like,
know. I'm like
I love it. It suddenly becomes a protocol.
I like protocol.
That's something that, that's something that I can use in my mind too, like protocol. Okay. That's organized. That's again, also kind of calming. Like I have a tool.
Yes, a tool in your toolbox. Beautiful. So good. Thank you.
Mm.
I love you. Love you all. This is just so fun. Like, this is like, oh, I just can't believe this is like my job. I'm like, she's so great. Again, like literally just like gratitude. I'm like, so grateful for all y'all. Who wants some coaching next? I know more of this apologizing for raising your hand. I'm like, women do not speak up enough in this world, and speak up. It's like, yeah, I was like, don't worry, Mikkel. I was like, Mikkel and Nadia, I got you, but I did hear Mikkel unmute first. So I'm gonna get her, and then I've got you, Nadia.
Cocomelon, no.
I'm so glad that you guys actually are like, no apologies. And I want to hear you start with a win.
Win is I had a really good mindset shift. I kind of forgot, like, when I feel like my business started working, I thought a lot about my 100K self. And then like, I kind of forgot that's what I did. And I started being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all this. And I realized I got focused on the past of like, oh, what if I don't do this again? And I started focusing more on like my like $1 million self and thinking about her and who I'm going to. Sorry.
Figure yourself.
Until I turned on the camera. But yeah, so that was a really good mindset shift for me.
Love it. Where can I shift you from here?
So I was thinking I'd like help with this spreadsheet thing because I feel like I'm a little confused on it still. So I could totally use like hands-on help if I can manage it.
So here is this projections one or the one from last week?
I wasn't here last week, so I could use help with both, but I'm also down to just do the projections one if we want to keep it relevant to today.
Let's do it.
I didn't.
And did you?
I copied both.
You did? Okay, so go ahead and send it to me. So the way that you do that is you click share, and then you click anyone with the link can edit.
Where's that? Is that in the settings?
Okay, so yeah, the share is in the top right next to your little name thing.
Viewer, it doesn't change anything. Anyone with the link?
I was like, yeah, anyone with the link.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. And then do you want me to just put it in the Zoom?
And then put it in the chat. And that's so good.
So there's the projection one.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. So here's where we want to, okay, and I'm just going to request edit access if you just want to go into your email and just be like, hey, Meg's can edit it. And we're going to keep all the names anonymous here. So anyone that you're working with, like, no worries. Like, but let me know when you fix it so I can edit it, and it should show up as like Megan requested edit access. Do you see that in your email, Mikkel?
Okay, done.
Awesome. Okay. So who are your one-on-one clients right now?
I have one one-on-one client now.
Okay. What is their name?
We'll call her Lauren.
Okay. Or we can just do initials. So
Yeah,
I'll
let's do that.
okay.
Yeah.
So what I do, and I think I put this in last week's, but I would go into Lauren and Acuity and I would find out how many sessions she has done. So you
Yeah.
do that by history. And
I track it in Kajabi.
okay, wherever you track it, it
So
doesn't have to be Acuity.
um actually just kidding. I do have two. I have one that's on a monthly basis. She's done 9 sessions and we have 4 left.
Beautiful. What is her end date?
Let's see. So I do sessions every other week.
Okay.
So what would her end date be? I'm doing the math. Probably like let's say like end of January, just with holidays and stuff.
Okay. So from here, how much has she paid you already?
I think $4,000. Let me check. Oh no, she's paid the full thing. So 5,500.
There we go. So in receivables, none. Timing, don't need to worry about. And then remaining payments, don't need to worry about. So for her, you've got her on lock, you've got her ready to rally. Within this is so great because if you go back to delivery, this next session could be a renewal call for her. If you want.
Yeah.
I was like, but like that's one of the reasons why I do this, because then I'm like, oh no, I was like, I need to meet and what I do is I think I put it in there. I texted her. I would text her and be like, I think I have it in this renewal. I'll send this to you as well. But within here it says like, hey, just heads up, we're gonna celebrate you. We have 4 sessions left. I can't wait.
Okay.
So just be like, hey, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this in your spreadsheet. And everybody, if you want to do this so that you don't have, just so you know where it is, I'm going to say renewal doc here. So that's the document there, and you can just make a copy of anyone who needs it. That could be helpful for anyone. Then you have a ton of people in your group that you also want to be tracking them, especially because there's an annual renewal now. I know it used to be lifetime, but you still
I haven't changed it from the lifetime yet.
okay. So with the
Just
lifetime,
because I've been trying to pull off my trigger happy changing all the things. I still want to change it. Nothing else changing.
Change the T, not the C. Love it. What kind of things are you but you still have people who haven't fully paid you yet, right?
Yeah,
And
I have receivables in the group.
okay, do you have that in Kajabi as well? So what I like to do is I like to have it here just so I can know how much the receivables are total. And if anyone, do you have people that like kind of just like drop off the face of the earth every once in a while?
With my group, yeah, I've had some people like where they never show up on the group and then they stop making payments and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So who are the people who haven't paid the full 2K yet?
Let's look.
Let's get their initials.
Okay. This also is good to write it down because I feel like Kajabi is kind of weird with
Right.
like
This is how
tracking.
I felt. I was looking at Acuity and I was like, this is a mess and a half. I was like, I need it in a separate place.
And then I also noticed too that yeah, I have some payments in Acuity, so that also messes it up because some's in Kajabi, some's in Acuity
Yep.
as I've been transitioning. So, okay, so oh man, how do I look at? I don't even know how to look at all.
I have no idea what it looks like in Acuity, but, or in,
I can start reading them off. I don't. This definitely
Yeah,
isn't all.
just read me initials.
So, okay. Also, I changed my payment plan. So, some of these receivables are going to be $200 a month.
Okay,
And then I decided I actually want to do a shorter payment plan so people are more paying it up front versus like I found with 200, I think people are treating it more like a subscription they could cancel, which is not what I'm going for. So,
what is the bigger payment plan option?
so I for the 400
Okay, so it's 400 a month?
for
Or,
500.
is it 500 or 400? Sorry, it's
We
like,
found the passport. Was it next door?
You still hear me?
yes, so is it 400 or 500 a month?
400 for 5 months.
Okay,
So that's what I've kind of transitioned to. So you'll hear me say both of those numbers, 400 or 200.
okay,
Exactly. So the 400
Yeah.
a month, I just kind of took out. There's no interest on it or anything, but
okay. So
Other-
who is paying that? This is where I like to do the color coding, everybody. So I can see, and you could just make like a line or something. But these are gonna be those people. Who are they?
oh, and then there was another payment plan when I first started. So there's also that
You
one.
still have people in that right now?
No. Those people have all finished. So we're good.
Yeah, only worry about the people you got right now.
I'm pretty sure those people have all finished. I'll double check. There might be
All
one.
good, all good.
I know. Okay. Well, we have M at 400.
Do you want to do last initial too? So I'm guessing you probably have more than one M.
Well, that's a good idea. MM.
MN like as in Nancy.
MM like M&Ms.
Okay, perfect. And then you won't have sessions or upcoming that won't need to be there.
Okay.
But how much has she paid so far? Or who-
She's paid 2 of the 400 payments.
Okay, so this is great. So everyone can see this. So she has paid $800 so far. Her receivables are out of the 2,000. So this is going to be 2,000 minus 800, which is
1,200.
1,200. When does she pay you? At the
Are
beginning?
you going
or
through
end of the month?
this each month and updating this like manually? I would go in and change her numbers.
Yeah,
when she
it's a
pays.
bit of, but you can hire, eventually you'll be able to hire somebody to do this for you if you want,
Okay.
but it's just helpful, even if, or you want to just check on it just in case someone just stops paying. So
Yeah.
you can, just kind of see, when does she get paid? Or when does she pay? Beginning, middle, or end?
She just paid, so the end of the month.
End of the month? Okay. So I start end here. How many remaining payments does she have? Is
3.
3 remaining payments. I was like, that took my brain too long to figure out. I was like, 3. Okay. So that's what I would do. So how many more does that make sense for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we have all the months of the year here. I think I even did it like, why does it January, March, April, May, June? Yeah. Okay. So in December, or L is going to pay you and MM is going to pay you.
L's done.
Right, L's done. So, but you would have one-on-one clients potentially. So you've got MM and then you'll have whatever the other payment plan is. And so you can highlight it in red again. So you can remember it's like, oh, she's in the red.
I see. Okay.
So
And then
then,
you just duplicate this again for next year, because I'm just thinking, so we'd have December, January,
Yeah.
February. So would you just,
and
how
I
do you
have
then
it.
want the next year?
Yeah, what I did is it's kind of crazy, but like I haven't made it just yet. I'm gonna make it next month, but I just put them January, February, March, April of next year are here.
So you don't create like a new, do you have a certain cut off and say like, okay, here's, because it just seems like that could get very long at some point.
I just have like my old ones over here. And then what you can do is you can click here, make a copy, and that's what I'm gonna do for 23, 24.
Okay.
So let's go file, make a copy of the whole thing. And I can actually have this here. 23,
Uh-huh.
24. And then I'll have the same data, because it's probably gonna be similar. And then
Mhm.
I'll go to the receivables expected, and I'll just delete all this up to here.
Mm,
And then I'll just take this. Sorry, you guys, I was like moving your heads. Cut this, paste it,
okay, that makes sense.
and then I'll just go and reset the highlighting. And then I'll delete this January 5th. Well, I could just keep that. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And the reason why I have another number underneath here is this is the total. So I have like the sum of the entire thing here. But I do have, what happens is if I copy this and I paste it into the expected profit, it looks crazy. So you, like, I just rewrite it underneath it. Again, Excel people, there's probably a better way, but I'll be like 13,5,9,0,1, and I'll go copy. Oh my God, that's just like insane. Sorry, I like did not, I can't even believe, I'm like, this is life right now. Like, what? But I'll go in and I'll make this whole row purple, because this is like, I don't know what I'm going to be making, but if everyone keeps paying me as they are, this is what I would make.
Oh, I see. So this is how you start projecting now, or
Yep.
this is a track?
It's expected, but so the expected profit is what I'm just expecting to get paid with the receivables. I know these are a lot of weird terms, so if anyone needs me to restate that, I can. But the receivables are how much I'm expecting to make. So it could be like your expected profit could be like receivable profit.
Mhm.
Like, if you just think about those two words can be used interchangeably. And then the projected profit, that would be like, okay, if I add these number of clients, what would it be like? But when I said the 30, Alicia, like this, I literally like went and I was like, 30 people, let's go. What would it look like? 35 people, what would that look like? And I'll just go in and I'll delete all these things. But I always keep my old numbers. I always still have that. And that's really helpful. And especially like Harmony, like we were talking about, like like right now I'm having a slight heart attack because I'm like, oh my God, like, are people even gonna sign up? Is it actually gonna work? I'm like, for the last round, everyone signed up for a consult on the last week on the last day. For this round, everyone signed up at the last week on the last day. I'm like, okay, so I need to chill out. So that can be helpful for you with your projections too. That was completely unrelated. Sorry, Macalba. I was like, it was just on my mind. Then anyone you've done a consult with, you put their name there. So it'd be like, and you could do JA, KL, whatever you have, and then be like, I had 5 total, 5 total, and then the clients I currently have are MML, whoever. Does that make sense for the
Yeah.
So
So
it's
wait,
like-
I'm trying to understand how this one's connecting with and I think someone was kind of asking it earlier. So we have a few different places we're tracking consults. This
Yes.
consult tracker is different in that it's like,
It's
Uh,
the monthly one. Now, again, you can delete this one if you want.
Okay.
It just helps me to be like, when I'm doing my projections for my consults, I'm like, okay, these are the number of people who have paid what. And actually my price is now, again, because I'm, do as I say, not as I do. But I'm like, I now have 12 or 15 one-on-one clients for one-on-one, and then I've got all of you guys for the group. So I'll just like take this and move this down because no one in the group has left or anything like that. Everyone for my one-on-one pricing is staying. And then I'm going to move, oops, sorry, column right. So if you ever do get a new payment plan or things like that, 12K for 6 months. And then I have a new client there. And then these are the same. And then nothing is here. Does that make sense? So it's like, I just like to keep track of everyone I'm actually coaching because I get overwhelmed.
this
And then
more- because I think my brain, like this one almost sounds like more it's like a deliverable thing versus the
Yes!
like whole like
That's a great way
finding-
to think about it. It's more for deliverables, and it's just like another place I can see the consults converting. Like I physically bold their name.
Okay. I wonder if that I'm getting confused, and I wonder if it's why, because like this to me almost is fitting more like in the client
Deliver.
delivery.
Yeah,
me.
that makes sense. Yeah, if you guys all, that can be helpful. So this is like your deliveries for each month. That can be really helpful to be like, okay, I can see that. Yeah. So would be your deliveries and be like, okay, and I just have clients that are in different payment plans, so I just see that.
So this is mine of the colored one you were just showing me.
Yes, this matches with this,
Okay.
the deliverables. I'll even say like dash deliverables. And then for your current profit, this is how much you've made every month. Now, this one, you could even, for everybody, if you're like seeing the number of clients I don't need to see that. If you click shift here, oh, hold on, shift, you can hide the columns. You might have to do it actually by hand, but you could just hide them, or you could delete the columns, like totally doesn't matter to me, but you could just see the profit here. So then you would go, what I do is especially because you've got payments in different places, I literally go into Square and I'm like, for each week, the way I do it is like, so if I were to do it for this past week, it would be the 17th to the 20. Where is it? Here we go. November 17th to, and I used to, because I typically do this on Friday, I go to reports and I click here and I go to November and I'm like, what did I make from the 18th to the 24th? And then I copy and paste that bad boy from here to here. So this is for the weekly ones. And I already did it. I just forgot to write down the dates. Or I might have deleted it accidentally. So for your profit, you would just go in and say November, or since November hasn't finished, October 1st to 31st. And then click this here. And put that here.
So you're
So-
pulling that number from like Square or Stripe, not
Yes, current profit is direct in your bank account.
Okay.
And I can put that on yours too. And say like Square, do you Square or Stripe?
I do Stripe.
Stripe. Okay, so same thing. And then expected profit. This is where you would put like however many people are going to pay you in December. What I like to do is I like to like, you could even put like,
Oh, this is gonna be based on receivables I already have, not necessarily like, I guess because when I think projections, I'm thinking, okay, here's what my goal is, right?
yeah, this is
versus-
just expected. This is just like,
Done deal almost.
yeah. So it's like for the expected profit, this is just kind of like, okay, what should I probably be making? Like, I'm going to assume that everyone's going to pay me. So
Okay.
that's the first one. And then the projected, that's where you have your expected profit for each month. And then you're like, okay, what would I want to make? Like if I added one, or it's like,
Nadia had a good question. This is technically this is revenue, not profit, right? Or is it
Yes.
profit? Because this isn't less expenses.
No, it's not. I was like, yeah, revenue is plus expenses. Yeah.
No, profits post expenses.
Well, then we can just change. I was like, yep.
Yeah, revenue is just the money you're bringing in.
Just money in. So if we're
But we
pulling
just
it
need-
from the bank, that'd be or Stripe, that'd be
So it's revenue. That I just wanted to be clear. That's what you're talking
No,
about.
that's a good clarification. Yep. I was like, words, money. I'm like, yeah, totally. Yep. Everyone can change that right now. I was like, like I always get the two confused. So yeah, these is revenue. So nothing about your profit. So that, and that's why I need to make a training to go over your expenses and stuff like that, because that's the actual profit. So yeah, all the words where it says expected revenue. Everybody just make that mental note that Megan doesn't know how to use words that are adult and business. So yeah, that would be revenue. And I actually, like, I have my P&L, but like, I don't really track that as like, that's what I really go through. So I should make a system for it, and I will. But I don't really have a great system for, like, other than literally monthly, I do my P&L. So, but does that make sense for everyone? I think it was helpful to like actually see somebody else's and me go through it. Does that help?
I have one last question.
Of course.
So
of course.
on that sheet, so once I so expected revenue is just the receivables, and then projected is when I start going into, okay, if I were to get 10 people in my group, 20 people in my group, and I start like kind of playing with numbers essentially.
Yes. And it's like, okay, so if I add, and I can put in yours, like what I like to do is I have like this adding 1, adding 2, adding 3, adding 4. And then I have group, what I would do. And like you can do payment plan, pay in full. If anybody else wants me to add this to theirs, or if you just want me to share it with you. But like, this is what it looks like for me. I think I went too far. Not.
Yeah, so how would you do that with like the group and the one-on-one?
Yep.
Like this is adding one. Oh, I see. So you have sections for both.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I just put a little line, and then at the bottom, I actually put, and I can just share this with you guys. 23, 24. I have it. So if you, this is like, if I were to add 1 and get people in the group, if I were to add 2 and get people in the group, if I were to add 3 in group, add 4 in group.
Is the ad, this is for the group underneath or for one-on-one?
These are one-on-one. So it's like, I literally took like this, if I add 1 down this whole column, and then I do add the group. So I literally went through and I was like, add 1, add group. And then this one is like literally like add 2, payment plan group. Add 3, payment plan group. Add 4,
Okay.
payment plan. And then here is like add 4, payment plan, or add 4, pay in full, add 4, pay in full. This number is just really fun to see. Like, isn't that crazy, guys? I'm like, wow. Because I like, and this is actually very helpful if you, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you have an accountant and you can talk with them and be like, hey, like, this is how much I'm thinking I'm gonna make. I'm like, but I have no idea. Like, so that's another really helpful thing, because I had to go to my accountant and I was like, so I could be anywhere between like 140 and like 200. And she was like, and I was like, I know. I was like, I'll keep you posted. And she was like, okay. But also for next year. So when you get to a certain point, like last year, I think it's at like the 70K to 6-figure level. I started paying my taxes monthly. So again, this is all like accountant stuff, but like another reason why this spreadsheet is helpful is just to be like, so you don't have to like pay a ton of money for taxes because you haven't been paying any taxes for the year, you know?
Can I ask one last question? And then
Mhm,
I'll let so the projections, we're just like kind of picking numbers of like, okay, ideally I want 10 people in my group or 20 or whatever, like each month. Like, I'm just wondering, because I actually heard Corinne Crabtree saying something along the lines of like, kind of contrary to Brooke's whole like, pick a goal and go for it, of like, pick something
Yeah.
that feels like doable to you, that's like, I can hit this, like, rather than just an insane number in the sky. But I just think about that where I'm like, well, how do I even know what's like reasonable to like project? Like,
That's
other
why
like, here's how big my email list and here's how big my social media is, and like assuming 5% of those people convert, or like how do you start like
so for me, that's where when Alicia was talking about the past, that's the when I look to the past. And I'm like, okay, reasonably, I sign a client once a month for one-on-one, typically. Now there have been months this year, like what I was showing, like this is this year. So I had a month where I had no consults. Like I think I showed you guys this, like I had July and I think April, I had no consults the whole month. I've also had weeks where I've made no money, and I've had and like, so it's like that happens, but I'm like, typically if I were to look at the average, I do sign on average like one a month. Like
Okay.
it would be reasonable to assume that I would, so it's like the minimum baseline is what I would make like the one, and it'd be like start at one, be like, okay, it's like I would say a reasonable thing for anybody to like have on there would be like add one a month, see what that would look like. And then you could be like, I could probably add up to 4 a month. Now, there have been months when I've even added more. I've added, where is it? Like, this is for the group, but it was like, I even added like 6 clients in a month. And I was like, that was a lot of clients. So I didn't even, it wasn't even in my frame of reference for what I could fathom. I just
Right.
got on it and I like tried it. So that's where I think like this bridges the gap between doable and impossible. Cause like for me at 35 people, that's a lot of people. I'm like, that kind of still feels impossible for me. But just knowing that I can see the numbers, I was like, that is interesting. And that was a huge benefit to talking with Tanner. Because I literally like until August, I only had projections for my group being 10 people. He's like, dream big. He was like, what would it be like to meet 30 people? And I was like, oh, okay. It was like, if you say so. But it was like, when you think about things like that, then it can help you to dream bigger for your group and for things like that. And your group is going to be monthly. My group is only 4 times a year. So if I look at my expected receivables, I'm only launched, there's no way I'm doing more than 4 groups a year. And if I do potential groups, so that's when I said, okay, if I launch in March and May, and then June and July, those are my expected.
Okay.
But yours would just be the same number.
Right.
And the only reason I doubled this was because it was a different launch. It's not going to look the same for you. Does that make sense? Sorry, I know that's a lot, but like the reason
I think
why
like high level I'm tracking.
cool. And this is
Once
actually,
I'll go in and try to put all the numbers in, and then that will obviously help cement it more.
yeah, because it gives
one
you
more-
something to shoot
I have
for.
one more question.
Yes, yes.
Weekly
I was like, I know
tracker.
it's threw that at you. So yes,
Profit, revenue, income. What's the difference? I saw all 3.
yes. So profit is now, I know. I was like,
Revenue.
profit is what happens after expenses. I thought it was
Well, in the
revenue.
tracker, are you putting profit there or you put revenue there?
I'm only putting revenue.
Okay. Wait, go back. Where is it?
Yeah, I changed it in yours. I said it's current revenue.
Oh, sorry, on the
revenue.
weekly tracker.
It should also be revenue.
So the
I have
sales,
income, it should be revenue.
so are sales, income, and revenue all the same number that you're putting in there? That line item
Yes,
IKL,
yes, I
are
see.
those all
This,
the same?
I think I was trying to be like, this is revenue,
Revenue.
or this is profit. And I was thinking that returns were expenses. This is so important. And
Oh, I see.
then this would be profit. Or this would be revenue.
It's you're saying revenue, expenses, and then that one's profit.
Yeah.
Like you less the expenses, is that
Yeah,
what
it would still be revenue.
This would be,
It
right?
would still be revenue because that's the money you've brought in.
Yes.
Yeah. And the first line isn't profit either, that's revenue.
if you're getting that one from
You're right.
Stripe.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. So
Because
this is
expenses, you've not put anything in there, have you? So you're not really using that.
it's only when people ask for a return. So like I'll have people, this is more so at the beginning, but like I
Okay.
had one who got an accidental charge of 500.
Well, I don't think it would be expenses. It would be like cancellations or something
Or
rather
like
than,
I had what was returns before.
yeah, potentially. But it's just
So,
not to confuse it because
yeah, because like
you're doing
I,
expenses somewhere else, or you know, if you're
Yeah.
tracking it.
yeah, I was like, clearly, y'all, I was like that. This was great for me. I'm like, I'm messaging my video person. I'm like, hey, can you change a couple slides for me? I'm like, I'm gonna need to change this for the next round. I'm like, use the wrong term. It's gonna be very confusing for anyone who knows more about business than I do. But within like that was just helpful for. Does that make sense for you now that all the words are right? So it's like revenue returns revenue, and then this is revenue.
Really, that's, oh, wait.
So this one is just like the red line. The gray box on the side is like I did this and then I did this plus this, and I just have it like adding all the way down.
So the first revenue line versus the other, that's revenue less returns. So that's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
got it. I'm trying
I'd
to.
say the first one is sales, maybe. So rather than revenue, I would do sales, returns, and then like total revenue or like, you know,
Yeah,
I like
received
that.
revenue or something like that.
Yeah,
I
that
like
makes
that.
sense. Okay.
That makes sense.
And last revenue is accumulated revenue.
Yep.
Thank you.
Of course. I was like, because I just wanted to see that number. It was like helpful for me. So good. I know that like literally thank you everyone for your patience with me in words. I'm like, totally changing that for the next round. So sorry. I hope people want us back. I'll clarify that like I'll give an updated spreadsheet in the form. Also, Nadia, I have time. Do you have time? I was like, if not, feel free to post it in the group.
Yeah, no, I do if that's okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Let's go for it.
Okay, so a win is
Yeah.
that I finally said that I was doing my webinar. I've been saying it for weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a webinar.
It's
And I
December
hadn't done
11th.
it.
I saw it in the group. I was like, hell yes, right? It is December 11th, right?
Yes, yeah, I've even dated it and everything. I've put it out into the world. I'm gonna do
So
it.
proud of you.
And that really does help me. Like, I'll do it like once it's kind of out there. So yeah, no, so that's good. So what I want, just a little bit of idea, like to help me, because I'm
Yeah.
really wanting to fill it and get in as many conversations with people within the 2-week period to generate as many leads as possible. But my brain is like, I'm struggling with like finding people to get into conversation that would be my ideal client.
Okay.
So, because like I'm looking for like new coaches, really, you know, but any coaches I find is I think it's a difficult one because any new coaches on their Instagram aren't like, I'm a new coach. They're like acting like they're a full-blown coach. Does that make sense? So it's like, how do I find people that I'm like, you're maybe presenting as I know you are a full-blown coach, but you know what I mean? You probably still need my help. Does that make sense?
100%. And I'm so glad we're having this conversation because I just totally want to shift your mindset.
Okay.
Because the things that you are teaching could apply to more advanced business owners too.
For
The
sure.
direction, time management, marketing, selling, and literally any coach. It's about getting more leads, right?
Yeah.
So it's like any coach is going to be like, I would like more leads. I want to come. And if you find that within your program that
it's about getting consults, sorry, but yes, same thing. But
so it's like in the consult, then you can filter.
Yeah.
So it's like a filter. And I still think that you could serve people even if they're a higher level. Like even if you do a consult and they're like, I've been at this for 6 years and I haven't seen the kind of traction. It doesn't have to be a new coach. It could just
I don't think so. I think I could help any coach because
I
everybody needs help with this, right? See
Right.
if someone has a one-on-one with a structure and the mindset coaching, like it would take you from, because that's another thing about like, it's like a lot of people know loads of stuff, but they're not doing it, right? So that's where I come in as the coach.
Accountability also. It's like, because then like just what you're saying is like if I put it out into the world, it's like if they start working with you, they're held accountable. Like that is one of the
For
beauties of
sure.
having like literally every Thursday, I'm like, shit, I'm like, oh, I need to do my P&L, like literally my profit and loss statement. My coach asked me for it every single week, and I'm like, oh, fine. So it forces me to do it, things
Yeah.
I wouldn't inherently do. So it's like when you're thinking about like, I think that you could work with any of them.
Yeah. Totally true. But it's like, I find it difficult to be like, because maybe this is just in my head, right? But because every coach is like acting like they are established coaches. Does this make sense, right? So everyone's acting like they're established, so they're not going to just be like, yeah, I totally need help with everything. You know, they're like, they want to come across as that they don't. Does that make sense? Is this just me? I'm like,
and that is why building that relationship with them is critical, because
Yeah.
you're not going to know. They're like
Mhm.
literally for you, I thought that you were literally when we did a consult, I was like, you were
yeah,
in such a different place than I thought you would presenting
Yeah.
at. So, and which is like great, and be like, hey, it's like, so do you have coaches that you have in your like conversations? Have you been having conversations with people so far about their business yet?
yes, I do. Not
Perfect.
as many as I probably would like, but yes, I am doing it. I'm doing my
Okay.
outreach.
So anyone that is in there, you want to be
Mhm.
like, hey, I've got this awesome, like
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how many people, like, so you were saying that like I want to make sure I fill it with as many leads as possible
Yeah.
within your, so it's like you've got the like, it's like the one way we want to fill it is the current nurture people.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was talking with another client about yesterday
Mm-hmm.
is, and Demetria, this can be good for you and Harmony as well, and literally anyone listening to this, if you have like an entry option. Now, Harmony, I'm not sure if you do, but Demetria, the goal, like the goal challenge, if you have a Facebook group, your even maybe not the podcast, because you want it to be more interactive potentially than that, but like you can be like, hey, thank you so much for following. Not only thank you for following, but let me give you my freebie. It's
Yeah.
like, so the way that she's been doing that is she's been like for me, for instance, anyone after this launch, I'm going to be like, hey, thanks for following. I have a testimonial template. Would you like it?
Mm-hmm.
So any new followers, I want you to be like your freebie right now. And Harmony, if you do a webinar, and anybody else who does a webinar, that's your freebie.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a webinar coming up. It's
Mhm.
like thanks and webinar invite to webinar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
then what that can become, the beauty of doing a webinar as a coach, I think is just really helpful, is that you can have on your website this training. So no
Mhm.
matter who comes, you can still have this training, and you can be like, then that can become your freebie.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's a really good freebie for you.
Yeah, totally. So, but my thing is like the new people, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I would happy do that with all my current followers. And I think here's where I'm like, it's just trying to find where are these people that I can find to then start generating the conversation to
The
then
outreach.
offer them.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? To then
Yep.
offer them.
So that's like a separate person. So that's where I would go to the outreach people. This is where I go to LCS. You
Yeah.
could go to Stacy. Where are other places where you have had experience with coaches?
Well, this is what I'm thinking, because like a lot, I know like there's loads of Facebook groups. So this is where I'm kind of torn at the minute. Like there's loads of Facebook groups where I know that there's
Yeah.
coaches, but it's a different type of outreach, because you can't just
Yeah.
friend, like that's weird to just friend people. It's not like you can just interact with their comments, their posts, their stories.
Well,
So I just feel like there's like I don't know how to like merge. Like I know this is a groups of where people are hanging out, and I know how to just interact freely in the groups to get people to contact me, but actually the outreach side of it, I'm kind of hesitant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I would proceed on the side of like caution, because like
Yeah.
usually those Facebook groups are for people's who like specifically want to talk to coaches. So I would say the posse kind of like I would say that the posse, you can just say that you're doing it on like one of those like what's shaking Saturdays or things like
Yeah.
that. But
But like,
Like,
who
they
on
post-
Instagram can I find people? You know what I mean? This is where I'm
Yep.
like, where can
Oh,
I find you on
totally
Insta?
literally, it's like going to like LCS and being like, anyone that says they're a coach, being like, or the life coach school, anyone that says that they're a coach, being like, hey, it's like, I love this, thank you so much for following. Or it's like, here, I'll show you.
No.
No, this one. Hold on. I actually did that yesterday. It's just funny. Coaching louder voices doesn't have a little bubble. So the reason why I picked her is because she had a bubble, so I could like comment on her.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh look, she's trying so hard. Look at her posting all these things. Oh my god, she's hilarious. I love it. Be like, and it looks like she made this. This
Yeah.
is awesome. Did you make this? Did you make this? Question mark. I'm like, super cool. So, and then that is if she that's when you do the 10 of these outreach people. If they respond, then you say, thank you. It's like, by the way, I think I saw you. I think we both follow Life Coach School. I want to know, like, I would do like at least 2 to 3 touch points before asking
Yeah.
her to do the webinar. So like, I wouldn't just be like, hey, you want to do the mastermind?
No, of course not.
You know,
No.
so it's like, that's like, it's just not, I know that you know, but for anybody who's listening, it's like, that's not
No,
what I'm
no.
saying. It's not the creepy DMs. It's like just getting to know people. But
Totally.
I would now, for your strategy, I would talk to not only the current nurture people, I would say because on the 11th, which is
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So I would say that instead of doing the typical like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, nurture, Tuesday, Thursday, new people, I would do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, current people, and just one day of the new people. Because
I've probably got more, like, I will need to mix it. Do you know what I mean? And just try and like get
yes.
more
It's like then
conversation.
that works. But I would just go to like, you've got a ton of followers.
Yeah.
So I would start with like your current, like I would, before doing the outreach with randos, like even if you did 10 people a day times every single day, that's only 140 of the 1,900 people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, okay.
I would still focus. I think you have a thought that like your people aren't here.
Yeah, I totally do. Like, I totally am like,
That
none
like
of them
you've got a
can.
really big audience. I'm like, I would
I'm like,
start
none
with
of them
them.
are real people. Like, I don't know why I think, but then I'm like,
And actually,
think
I
it's-
know Lo. Like, she's a real person. Like, not only outside of the group, but like I know this person. She's super nice. I really like her. And the
Yeah.
L Social is like so. And even people that are like current. Yeah, what is the thought there? I was like, we need
I
to
don't
clear.
know. I just kind of feel like everyone that is following are either just people trying to sell me something. Like, in my head, I don't believe that anyone that's following me is actually like following me for that reason, like to work with me. That's just what I believe.
Okay, it's like, could we be wrong about that? Is that absolutely true?
No, it's not. Of course, it's not. But in my head, that I just sign it off as that. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and so it's like, and if they do try and sell you something, then that's just like a business tax. It's like, oh, cost of doing business. No big deal. Of course, you're a business. Like, that's why you get targeted. No big deal. I was like, it's literally what we're doing to other people. But at the same time, like, it's worth it. I was like, what is your goal? I was like,
Really, 3 clients this year.
3 clients. Okay. So it's like, I guarantee out of the one, like, let's just say I have 1, 9, if it's just that. Nope, other way. You know what I mean, though? I'm like, this is not, and I would say, I was like, after the webinar, I would say that's 1% of the people following you. I would say after you do the webinar, I would say 3 one-on-one spots open now, book your consult.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm not even going into my followers really ever, which I really
Which
should
is
more.
shocking because you have so many. That's my favorite place to go to people.
I know. I don't know why. That's so funny, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'm
I
gonna
was
go
like,
back.
there's a thought here. Let's just.
Yeah, I just believe that it's all like, not that any of it's fake, and I didn't do it any weird way. Like they all just followed me. Like I didn't, like it wasn't. But in my head, I'm just like, no.
Yeah, and I was like, do you feel like you can say yes now to those? Because these people are huge. Like these are,
Yeah,
I guarantee you've had sleepers. And a way that you
yeah.
can make your brain feel like a little bit better about it is like you
Uh-huh.
can click on anyone who liked this. Again, it's probably gonna be a lot of us, but
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think a lot of people do like. I think they just watch. You know what I mean? Like,
they're lurkers, and you can do a post for the lurkers. But
yeah,
like simple health quotes, maybe they're wanting to be a coach. This accountancy, like who knows? It's like this one looks like a coach. And she liked the Coaching Business Accelerator. So
yeah,
I'm guessing if they liked that, they
yeah,
might be interested. It's like, hey, it's like, thank you so much for following me. It's like, I've got this presentation. I would love for you to come. Would you like to come? Great. Tell you about your business. Would you help?
yeah. Okay, I'll work more on that. Yeah, okay, okay. I'll go back to it.
Get it. Amazing. All right. I do feel complete.
Yeah, no good, all good.
Amazing. Demetria, do you have anything left lingering or are you feeling good?
I think I feel good. Harmony's coaching was really good for me. So I was taking some notes. I think I feel good. And also this helped. I've been thanking people for coming in and following me, and I should just offer them my freebie. So I'm gonna go back like a lady this morning. She has I guess it's landscaping business here. And so I'm just gonna offer my 3-year plan freebie. So I'm doing that. I'm doing this summit. Nobody signed up for my challenge, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to use that to kind of talk about like, why are you not setting goals? So I have, I have something on that. And then I'm kind of in 2024 planning. I'm going to film my time management thing and put it out as not a freebie, eternal thing for sale. I can't think of the word.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
A
I'm going to
course?
sell it.
Yeah, like a course.
Yes, it's a course for sale for like $19, $20, something like that. It's just time management. If you get my planner, you can do the QR code and watch it free. So I'm going to sell it and then, I don't know, maybe give them a discount on the planner. But anyway, that's what I'm working on. Those are the things that I'm working on. I'm feeling really good about things. I got some coaching in another group yesterday about belief, staying in belief. And what you said was like, don't just, because that's why I would put that fake it until you make it thing, because that's what I was doing, is not feeling good. But I got coached to, you're right, like sit with that, feel all those feelings, think about them, think about why, and then keep going, but not resisting.
And if we're thinking about those, like, we want to like be able to like feel the feels. And I noticed that your brain is like webinar, summit, course, planner. I think that's where your brain is going. I wonder why, like, and I love these things as part of your action plan. I think it's phenomenal. And like when we're thinking about signing one client, one of the 5 people, it's like, what comes up there?
That I need to keep doing what I'm doing. So I will say, I a little bit wish I hadn't agreed to do this summit, but because I feel like I'm not promoting it as much as they want me to promote it. But it's really just a replay of one of my podcasts. So I'm not putting that much work into it. And I feel a little bit better with that. But in my other stuff, the course will be 2024. So I'm not doing that right now. Right now, I really just want to focus on offering consultations and, what are you planning for 2024 and how I can help you. So that's really where I'm focused.
It's like I would talk with the people that you have sent the freebie to. I would talk with anyone who's sent, like, how have those conversations been like, how are you feeling about 2024? How are you feeling around the holidays? I know this can be the craziest time when like everything goes out the window.
Mhm.
I would like, I think that you're doing an amazing job with the marketing. I think that like we just need to do a bit of like the lead like conversations.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that piece of things?
I feel okay about it. So the people that showed up when I was doing that as that webinar, one booked, one scheduled a consultation, but then she didn't have it. She's a friend of mine.
Okay.
And the other person never really responded. Like she did the thing, she was there until she got in my email sequence. So I have her there. But I also need to talk about that freebie more now that it's a
Well,
PDF.
within the free, like it's like I want you to like anyone who's on your email list,
Mhm.
I would love for you, like along with the summit, because you're like, okay, someone's not going to take a lot of time. We're going to talk about 2024 and 2024, but how many people do you have on your email list right now?
129, not very many.
No, it's great. Okay, so if we would assign, just like I was doing with Nadia, I'm like 5 of 129. They have actually opted in. That's 3%. That's great.
Yeah.
We like these odds, right? So it's
Okay.
like, what did they need to hear to sign up now? That
Mhm.
like, it's like, because it's like, I think that like your brain is like the summit or the planet or it's like, or the freebie. It's like, do you see how you're like putting things in the way of them actually just working with you a
Mhm.
little bit? That's just kind of like what I'm feeling. It's like, because I think your brain is like they need to have something, an entry offer to join me versus like what Armini is saying, like they're ready now. Like what if there is like there are 5 people in there ready now? What, like it's like I want you to know every single one of them by name. I want you to know why they're on your email list. I want you to know what their everything about every goal. It's like, is their goal is their goal career related or is their goal personal related? Is it fitness related? Is it weight related? What is their goal? Let's get to know these humans because
Okay.
they already have opted in. How do you feel about like sending it? It's like I would say like send them and like you can do it like in a personalized. I would like literally like if you think about that, that's 10 people by the end of the year divided by 129. It's like that would take like 7 days to do those emails. So like if you could send those emails before, I would be like, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Demetria. Thank you so much for signing up for my email list. I want to know what kind of things are you like looking to get from being on your email list. If they came from the freebie, talk to them about the freebie. How's it been going? If they came from a webinar, talk to them about the webinar. If they came from the book, the planner, talk to them about the planner.
Okay. So not automated emails, because you know you can make those look personal. Like actually send each person an email. Alrighty. But some
You
of
know
them
what I
know me. But then I can just say, I've been thinking about them.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like I've been thinking about you. I know this is the craziest time of the year about you. I know this year can be the craziest time of the year, and I wanted to see how the XYZ is coming along, or what are some of your goals for 2024? Like, let's look at it's like, have you changed your pillars at all? Like,
They're relatively the same. I might be combining some of the old ones with this and just
take it.
like curate your life one goal at a time. And the goal can be like getting your Christmas shopping done. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the goal
So
is
it's like,
whatever you want to do to make your life look the way you want it to look. So I'm kind of
so you got like the
combining those.
organization piece, right? It's like,
Mhm.
like, how are you, this could be related to like stress.
Mhm.
You've got the confidence. So it's like, you could be like, this might be related directly to a goal. So this could be like, confidence. I literally just did this with somebody who has like a $7 million business. So I was like, wait, what are your 3 things I was like,
Right.
this is what we need to have conversations with. And
Like
like,
how
they're
you're feeling
basically
about the goal.
like Corinne actually hired, I think it was like a team of 10 people to do this with her, like for her launch. So she like figured out like what is their problem and how can we talk with them about it. Goal or confidence, vision, direction. So it's like maybe being like it's like are you feeling like you this is I would say focus on organization and organization and goals / confidence.
And I do have something ready, like for that, like letting go of all the past failures. And, you know, don't think about that when you're going forward, when you're moving towards your next goal, moving toward 2024. So I do have some things. So I will focus on that.
Wait. You have what things? Don't send them more things. Like talk to the like be like, okay, it's like I was like, do you see how your brain like immediately went down like Demetria? I'm like, no, the next thing is to book a consult with you.
Oh, well, I meant as a post. So, but yes, I will send these. I
Yes.
will send these.
So
I'll
it's like
start working on
anyone who
these today.
responds and be like, I literally like it's like it's like I truly feel that and what did I say? It was like it was pretty good. I like wrote it down, but like literally like we sent this to all of her people
Okay.
one-on-one and it was like but we literally like went in and we were like, okay, for each of them, it's like how long have you been trying to potty train your child? And it was like, hey, this is my jam. I would love to talk to you about it and see if this program would be a good fit for you. How long have you like so it's like literally for each of her pillars,
Okay.
we went in and we're like, hey, are you thinking about this? And made it more interactive. So you can do that with your stories. And you
Okay.
could be like, that's what I've been doing on my stories. I don't know if you've seen that, but I was like, what are you feeling stressed towards the end of it's like I think I did one, what was my one from yesterday? But like I was like, pain, it's like essentially pain point or goal, and then
Mhm.
directly to like book a call.
Okay.
It was like, here I'll show you. What is your goal conversion rate? Like what would you want your conversion rate to be? That's what I do in the mastermind. Sign up here. So
Okay.
even making some like what I say, it's like I truly feel that, and this is actually my jam. For you, organization is 100% your jam. So it's like,
Yeah.
so you could say something like that. And then more interactive stories
Okay.
based on pillars. Because I'm like, I love all these. It's like I love all these like A-line things, but I'm like, why don't you just get them to work with you? Make it very,
Right. You're right.
you know?
Okay. And so for the first time, and I'm a little bit ashamed of this or surprised, not ashamed, surprised. So for the first time, in my planning, my top 3 priorities, like for the week, like it's always been like, be productive, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, sign a client. I actually wrote it down. Like I've never written that down before. Like it's be productive, batch content, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, my priority is signing a client. So yeah.
I feel the shit for you because like I'm seeing that you're like you are showing up so much strong. Like I mean, not that you weren't showing up strong before, but I'm like you are showing up. Your posts are good. Your content's good. I'm like I just want my content to like be about the program. Be like I can't wait for you to be inside the Curate Your Life program. It truly is going to be 3 months that will change the next 3 years of your life. Once you get in there, we're going to meet once a week. I'm going to be holding your hand through every single thing that you're doing. You are going to get organized. You're going to become more confident. Your goals are going to be reached and you're going to find that direction. Like I want more of like you selling you versus
Right.
selling the things to get to you. But I'm like literally like that's why I was like, you got this. I'm like, because I've been looking at all of your posts and I'm like, you are on and I don't know if it's because we have that group thing now. I love that group thing because I can actually like really see all of your posts, but I'm like, you are on fire. And I'm like, let me just like help you get to the next level. I'm like,
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for staying on. I was gonna be all good with the coaching that everybody else got, but thank you. This is helpful. I will make a point to sell working with me.
It's so awesome. Everyone should do it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love it. All right, I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.